Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Matthew Thompson, famous YouTuber. Now, you might be wondering what I'm doing with a megaphone, and I'll let you know. I bought this for something else, and I really wanted to record a video with it. Also, my roommate John Bakey is gone, so I can't bother him with it either. So I'll bother you all with it as I record this video. Now, today, we're making a very special video. It is called the Chicken Nuggies of American culture. Now, I don't want to see any complaints or comments about my spelling and how I write things. This is an educational video, but it's not designed to be high quality. Now, you might be wondering, what is a chicken nuggie of American culture? First, we gotta define what a chicken nuggie is. A chicken nuggie is something that people consume in very large quantities, but ultimately isn't really that good. You may say that a chicken nuggie is kind of good, but it's not great, and in excess, it really kind of just leaves you feeling a little blah. And eventually they get old real quick. Something that's great, you can continue to consume over the course of your lifetime, and you won't get sick of it. Eventually, we all get sick of the chicken nuggies. Now that we've defined a chicken nuggie, now we need to define American culture. Now, American culture are the beliefs, practices, and things that we all do that make up the larger shared experiences that we have. And so in this video, what I'm trying to describe are the things that Americans partake in at large amounts of volume and ultimately are not that great of a thing. Hence, a chicken nuggie of American culture. Now, I have a list of, I think, like 8 items, some of which might be controversial and will cause you to unsubscribe to my YouTube channel, but that's a risk I'm willing to take. So I'm going to start off with number 1. Number 1, we have McDonald's. Now, McDonald's is the most profitable restaurant franchise on planet Earth. But does that make McDonald's great? No, of course it doesn't. We all know that McDonald's is not great. But it proves the point of what a chicken nuggie is. Not only do they sell chicken nuggies, overall the restaurant itself is a chicken nuggie of American culture because a lot of people consume it, and it's not all that great. And oftentimes people do think it's great, even though it's not. I apologize for the pause there. Speaking through this megaphone is much harder than I anticipated. Might have to take some breathing breaks here and there to make sure I don't fall over on camera for you, you know? Alright. But McDonald's, I think that one's kind of a layup. I don't think many of you are going to very much argue with that. Number 2, though. Number 2, we have Mr. Beast. Now, Mr. Beast is a YouTuber, not as famous as me, but he has the second most subscribers on planet Earth after myself. But if you watch any of his videos, they're the same sort of recycled plot lines and content over and over again. All he does is just give away lots of money and chocolate bars in order to get you to view his videos. They're subdivided into snippets that are about 60 seconds long each, because he knows that you don't have an attention span longer than that. And overall, if you watch a Mr. Beast video, do you ever go away thinking to yourself, wow, that was a great video. It was entertaining for a point in time, but it wasn't great. It may have made you laugh briefly for a second, but you aren't going to be thinking about that video for weeks to come. Therefore, it is a chicken nuggie of American culture. Alrighty. Next, we got The Office. Now, this one might be a little more controversial than the other two, especially with my generation that grew up watching The Office. And I know some people who have probably watched it at least 15 times at this point. But I think it's time for you to realize that just like eating an entire dinner tray full of chicken nuggies isn't good for you, consuming Michael Scott, Jim Halpern, and whatever Dwight, Pam, and whoever else is in that show isn't that great for you either. The Office is a highly overrated show, a criminally overrated show that doesn't have any actual substance or form to it besides the occasional slapstick joke that isn't that memorable and is not that edifying. Therefore, it is a chicken nuggie of American culture. Continuing on, we're kind of on the content spree. We got Star Wars and Marvel movies. Now, I would ask you to name me half of the movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I would ask for you to name me a quarter of the movies and also all the TV shows that they have. And I'd be willing to bet most of my life savings and probably this house that I live in that you can't name that. Because Marvel movies are a chicken nugget of American culture. They are somewhat entertaining to watch initially, and then you're never going to watch them again. Similarly, Star Wars, particularly the new Star Wars, is also that same sort of shoveled garbage that doesn't actually have any sort of interesting plot that tells a story that's worthwhile or memorable. These two are both similar to The Office, where they may entertain you briefly for a moment with something forgettable, and then you only are wanting to crave more of that hit or that fix, so to speak. Alrighty. This one is probably where people are going to turn off the video. Number 5, we have pickleball. I'll say it. Just play tennis instead and get good at sports. Number 6, Apple Watches. Now an Apple Watch does many things. It keeps track of your text messages, it can do fitness tracking, it tells the time, but it does none of these things excellently. An Apple Watch is just a middle-of-the-road, very average product that numerous people buy themselves into when there are much better fitness trackers out there. I say this as an Apple Watch owner. Some of you are saying, Matt, isn't that a little hypocritical? But the sign of maturity is being able to critique your own lifestyle and see its shortcomings. I'm actually quite more enlightened than you are. Which brings us to number 7. Another issue I have in my life. Running. Running is by far the most overrated form of exercise. It's the first thing you learn to do when you are a small child. You walk, and then at some point you figure out how fast you can walk, and you realize you can run. Now running is by far the most easily accessible form of exercise, but running is not fun. No one ever goes out for a run thinking that they're going to have a great time, and no one ever enjoys their run. There's a reason why people put in headphones, podcasts, and find any other way possible to distract themselves while they're running, because it's a miserable form of exercise. Weightlifting, biking, skiing, or any sort of sport at least has some form of entertainment to it, therefore it is great. Unlike running, which is only good, and therefore qualifies as a chicken nugget of American culture. Which brings us to our very last thing, and the one that will convict me the most. Fantasy football. I say this as someone who has 4 fantasy football teams and is miserable. Each week, I load up my app to see that I might be projected to beat my opponent, and then by the time 8:20 p.m. rolls around, which is when I'm recording this video, I see that all my hopes and dreams have faded into misery as I realize my opponent has scored into 15 lucky touchdowns, and my guy couldn't even hold on to the football and has 2 fumbles. All in all, fantasy football is something that each year I go into it thinking it's going to be a very positive experience for me, and by the end of the year, I'm pulling my hair out and wishing for the year to end. All in all, a chicken nugget of American culture. And with that, folks, we have reached the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed this, and I hope this was educational for you. If any of these things are a part of your life, don't be like me, who has these 3 things, and you can tell they make me miserable. Try to remove the chicken nuggies from your life and move on to better things, and that will lead you to a life of happiness. With all that said, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks a bunch for watching, and me and my megaphone will see you next time.